All right, story time. There's a Mustang coming up for sale at the auction this week, and it has been absolutely smashed. But that's not to say it doesn't have a bunch of good parts, including roll cage, race seats, cowl hood, and drag wheels, making it look like a full-on drag car. And drag cars are known for their fast engines, which just so happens to be exactly what I've been looking for my lowrider Robin, one of my OG fleet units. Driven this car in the Stampede Parade 3 times.
Just a couple of people out for the Stampede.
Looking good.
Yeehaw! Ride 'em Cowboys!
Woo! Woo!
Yeah!
Driven it to Kelowna for the Dream Rally.
One of these rides is not like the others.
It's been my friend's wedding car, and even drove it in the 2018 Royal Rally, where unfortunately the engine internals became externals.
That's it. That's all she wrote.
Since then, I've tried swapping in a Buick 455 engine, which was miles away from fitting in its engine bay, and has left me staring at Robin in the corner of my life for the past 7 years, just waiting for her revival. That's only if this Mustang even has its engine still, though, because it's at IAAI, which doesn't allow in-person viewing, limited to what we can see in photos only. But when you're looking at this car, the thing that jumps out first is these drag wheels. When you're rocking wheels like these, you're typically putting down numbers. However, a closer look reveals that these are relatively inexpensive, and it still has the stock drum brakes, which is not great for drag cars. And we move into the interior, and a quick search on Google Lens shows me that these race seats aren't exactly the highest end race seats available. And the roll cage that's in it has been bitten by the jaws of life. It would seem like this car wouldn't be much more than scrap value.
What are you gonna do? I am gonna get to the truth.
We get closer inside, we can see that it has some gauges on the dash, so it's potential something devious lurking underneath that hood still. Even though the auction couldn't figure out how to open it, so they have it sold as a stuck hood. Now, on that hunch, I reached out to my new buddy Nate, who has woven himself pretty deep into the local Calgary car scene. And sure enough, he knew the car. Well, he himself didn't, but he reached out to somebody else, found out that that car had been crashed at Cross Iron Mills just a couple months ago, and that it had recently had a 347 stroker engine installed at a local performance shop in town here, Dale Adams.
One clue leading inexorably to the next.
Now, using this knowledge that Nate gave me, I typed in Cross Iron Mills Mustang accident to the old Google machine, and sure enough, the first thing that popped up was somebody looking for footage from that exact accident, and it has 67 comments. Now, opening it up, and the first media that you see is a photo of the driver still inside the car before he'd been extracted by firefighters using the jaws of life. And who posted that photo? Well, none other than the actual guy that was in the Jeep that got hit. It is a small world. Scrolling down more, there's another short video that somebody took when they were just driving past, which shows the driver getting into the stretcher after he'd been freed. My thoughts are with him and everybody else involved. Then after a little more scrolling, someone else has posted a dash cam video. And as if we didn't need to be reminded that we're being watched at all points in time, there was a Tesla at just the very exact perfect angle to catch the whole thing from the side. This video shows the Mustang coming in hot through an intersection before jumping the curb on the median, catching air off of it, and plowing into the Jeep. Not an overly pleasant experience for anyone involved, I'm sure, but we do see the passenger get out and appear relatively unharmed. I still need to know if this is going to be financially feasible, so I made one final call to Dale Adams to get some more info. They told me that they had recently installed a brand new Blueprint engine 347 stroker, and he even said he remembered it having a supercharger. But he wasn't totally sure about that one, so not to quote him on it. So armed with this knowledge, I'll be taken to the auction block tomorrow to do some gambling. $3,800 is my high bid budget, so Fingers crossed. If you notice, this is all the wheel well. Like, he hit and it crunched and it pushed all of this back. But if you go real close in here, you can see that the frame rail is right there. The engine is on the other end of the frame rail, and the headers are on the other end of the frame rail, which means that everything that's under there might still be perfectly fine.
In your dreams.
Let's go gambling!
Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it.
All right, here we go. 87 Ford Mustang.
Serve all.
Single bid. Oh, shit. Go. Here we go. Come on, get out of here, Saskatchewan. I don't have much more in me. Oh, you butthole. He's probably taking it to 35. Let's see, 35, 50. What are you doing? I really don't have much left in me here. Sold it.
Time extended.
Fuck. Oh, man. I hate it when they do that. All right, that's got to take it.
Time extended.
Oh, don't press it again. Sell it to me.
You won.
Sweet. I'm a little shaky right now because I got no idea if that engine's okay or what's going on in that. And I just spent a lot of money on it. What do you think about that? Huh, Rusty? Are you excited? What about you, Coco? Are you excited? Yeah, we're all excited. I'm in my nightgown, betting on the auction in the morning. Yay! We won! All right, I have just pulled into the auction house here. This is the spot where your crash car goes after the accident, and it usually stays in one of these yards here for a while until your insurance is paid it out. And once it's paid out, then they can sell it because the insurance company technically owns it. And then that's when I buy it. So this one was 3 months ago is when this accident happened. Oh, and if you look, there is some cool looking cars in here. Now there's 2 of these auctions. There's IAAI and then there's Copart. A lot of you know about Copart because that one's a little bit easier to buy from because there's a lot of brokers at Copart. You got to have your dealer's license, and I've been a member here for like 15 years, which is handy. Thank you. Burnt out Caddy. Burnt out Audi. There it is. I see the corner of a headlight of a Foxbody. Sick. Doesn't look like there's a lot of money there. Well, the racing seat looks pretty good from here. Although you shouldn't be able to see it. There should be a driver's door. Look at that. Oh my God, is that thing ever twisted? Holy smokes. Okay. So keeping my fingers crossed here that everything's gonna be all right. That is a heck of a lot of twistage going on. It's got a non-repairable status on it, meaning that it can never be fixed and brought back on the road anyways. Thank you. Okay. First look, I see a busted engine mount and I see that whole cradle pushed back. It looks like the steering rack here has been pushed into some headers, so the headers might not be any good. Hopefully the block isn't cracked like this wheel is. Yikes. Now the next big question, does it have a supercharger on it? Please be a supercharger. I do not see a supercharger on there. That does not look like the engine that I thought it would be. That's definitely a throttle body. Okay. Uh-oh. I guess I should probably wait to pull these pins out until I get back to the shop. Oh, I'm so eager though. Is there a boost gauge? That would tell us some things. We got 1 gauge missing. We got a boost gauge. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a boost gauge. Trans looks good. It's a 5-speed. Looks like the whole thing might have moved back. Hopefully that's all good. It's too bad that the roll cage didn't go any more forward. It had the clamps here to go up to the front, but he didn't finish the job, and that probably would have done him pretty good. You know, he might still be fine. I don't know. I'm sure that somebody that watches this video is gonna know him and will let him know what happened to his car, and hopefully he's okay. Let's see about these tires. Are the tires good? Yeah, tires are decent. It's got a built rear end, does it look like? Got a cover on it, so probably got internals at least. But there's like no drag racing stuff back here at all. Get her strapped down now, take it back, pop those pins off, and take a look what's under the hood. Fingers crossed that it is a wild setup.
You actually got it.
Yeah. Whiplash. I have not taken the hood off yet. I don't know if it has a supercharger or not. I would presume it does. It doesn't look like it's been altered, but it'd be pretty easy for them to pop the hood off with those hood pins and take the supercharger out of it before their insurance took it, which is always a possibility. So hopefully that's not going to be the case. Let's get some plastic off of this thing, get the hood off, and find out if we're a winner or a loser.
Come on down.
Oh my God, my fingers are crossed. Is that hard in there?
Yeah, it's like bent.
Okay, well that's good. Maybe that means it hasn't been out before, because they didn't just replace them with other pins.
Strongest hood pins I've ever seen.
Here we go. Okay, the $10,000 question. Oh, buddy. Oh, my God. Look at the size of that supercharger. Looks like it's a stage 1 because I don't see a air to water intercooler anywhere. This all looks brand new in here. All of this here, all the seals, everything there. And you know what? The headers down there, yeah, they're a little squished. I can see they're squished right there. But that looks like the only thing that's squished. Oh, shit. Well, that sucks. If we look way down in there, you can see that the transmission is cracked off of the housing. Maybe it's just the bell housing that can be replaced.
What a ridiculous fancy clown you are.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Nice. Got her unloaded yesterday, and it has a bit of snow here overnight, as it does March in Alberta here. Looks nice with the little frosty. Car looks decent from this angle, kind of. We're gonna go down more. Yeah, like right there. You're like, oh yeah, that thing is nice. The reality, not so much. Well, let's get this hood up here first. And you wouldn't want that slamming on you. Get the hood pin in there. Perfect. Actually, let's get this end up over here. If that one will latch into that. Oh yeah, just look at that.
Oh my gosh, just look at it.
What do you think? Will this battery still work? Oh, that was easier than I thought it would be.
Not with the crack in the bottom.
Just a little hole. Pro tip, before you get the unit in the hoist and get it up in the air and make it so the doors are not openable, get the seats out. So we're gonna pull all this stuff out of here, strip some of the interior, and then push it in there, and then we can strip the rest of it. This door's still good. Let's get a little closer here. All of this looks pretty good. There is the BPE stamped onto the block, so we know that this is indeed a blueprint engine. Everything on that side looks pretty good. Then when you come over to this side, that is where the engine mount is. And luckily that didn't shear out from the block. So all there looks pretty good. But where it pushed it down, that pressure came down here. And then that's where it snapped. On the tranny end at least, not on the engine's end. But yeah, that kind of sucks. It doesn't look big. I think it's just a T5, in which case it's not a huge loss. So whatever. I've never been too much of a Foxbody person. Truth be told, this is actually my first Foxbody. Although I do currently have 2 newer Mustangs for my racetrack. So I'm tearing into it and learning kind of how things work. And I'm rather surprised because this whole rad support here, it's all welded in. This is all one piece here. So you can tell that this car had never been in an accident because these have never been redone. This is all still original. I certainly wouldn't want to work on one of these and have to do all this cutting and welding here just to change a front rad support, when on an E36, all you got to do is unbolt it and this comes all out, along with many other vehicles. But some are like this. I've done a Toyota Tundra before that I was really upset when I got it and realized that I had to drill out every single one of those spot welds. Doesn't matter to us though, because just cut it here and cut it there, and now it is a removable rad support. We'll see how long this takes for us to go from full to stripped. We've been working on it for what, like half an hour here? not that long so far. And hopefully we can get this all done today. I don't know if that's a dream.
There we go.
Tires off, wheel is not. Yeah. Gotcha, bitch.
Jesus.
The engine wasn't entirely spared. Right there, the oil pan got a little bit crinkled up, but the chance of having an oil pan the exact same as this in my lowrider, Robin, is relatively slim. Most likely either gonna build our own or buy one that's different because there's many different options for this engine. Otherwise, everything is all unbolted everywhere, and unhooked and ready to go. Handy dandy skid steer is activated and we are taking that final bolt off. Go ahead. Well, the steering rack down there was interfering with the headers, and the headers over here are smushed, so we're just gonna pop them off. Header is now off. Yeah, that's working. Yeah, buddy. Perfect. All right, beast is coming out here. Not supposed to be able to see light through that crack, but that's okay. I think the trans is pretty damn close to just falling off. And sure enough, we are no longer connected to a transmission. Look at that. That's not a happy input shaft. Ta-da! Isn't that fun? Now that the engine is out, been able to give it a good look around, and other than the oil pan there, everything looks really good, and the engine mounts clearly. It just bent the easily bendable units, and everything else appears to be just fine, so that's great news. You can also see that he had a nice red McLeod clutch in there. It's still in there, because that is all completely cracked and toast. The cheap and easily replaceable piece, so I don't really care about that. It's the rest of this that I care about. And hey, I've got a useful clutch if I do decide to go back with that trans. At least I've got some of the expensive parts already done. We're just filling all the holes in here so we can put this in storage. We'll do some measurements, see if it's gonna fit into the lowrider. Hopefully it does. We've got a job for us later down the line. And when you look at this car here, you really start to see the amount of damage that it took. This is crazy how twisted this is. That's what it's supposed to look like on the firewall. This is what it looks like over here, just completely crunched. And then when you look underneath, watch out. You're stunned. Get all the way under here, you can see that it transferred all the way into the other side there. And like this is a jagged section now where it was once flat. And then look at that. The whole thing is absolutely twisted. It's amazing that that engine survived. And it's only because it happened to hit on the other side of this frame rail, which is exactly what I was hoping. And this engine setup is exactly what I was hoping too, because this is worth way more than I paid for the car. And now I get to have an awesome engine in my lowrider for a very reasonable price. Hopefully, if it fits and it works. Fuel injection and all. We're gonna strip all this out in here. And it had a line lock, which is pretty cool. So this thing probably did pretty badass burnouts. And I don't wanna accidentally leave something and then have the car gone and then need it. So we're gonna strip out all the electronics, anything that has anything to do with the engine systems, and then just basically be left with the shell. The back half is gonna be simple because we're just gonna cut it right down the middle there. Whoop. And then I wanna keep the back section and make it look like it's driving through the wall of a building. And then this is all trash, and the majority of this is trash. Like this is all just stock Foxbody stuff. Not a whole lot of value in here, so I'm probably not gonna pull any of this off. We're gonna take all the interior just because there's a lot of electronics and the computer's in there. You wanna go fast, kids? Here's one tip. Use a Sawzall.
I don't know if the mileage just went up.
Maybe. Sweet. Cluster, one more thing done. My buddy Cody showed up. Put him straight to work. Free labor. Free labor is the best kind of labor. And if you look in here, you'll find an interesting Easter egg of this Ford Mustang. Remanufactured for General Motors. Sticker here. I guess this is a GM steering rack. What are we doing mixing GM and Ford? Looking pretty stripped in here. As long as I'm not cutting through the hood. So dumb, I'm waiting to hit my head on the roof. Great success. That's a one-day project done. Easy as that. We got the back end here, ready to flush up to a wall, and it's gonna basically be a shed because we've got an open hatch in the back. It'll be an art installation like a car is driven through a wall. And then this thing's off to the metal yard, and this thing is hopefully gonna go into the Bluebird, into Robin. Now we're gonna take that rear end and put it in the front of my house right there. So it looks like it's driving into the house. Modern art, obviously. What kind of car guy are you if you don't have a Foxbody driving through the front of your house? Oh yeah, that is so sweet. Next up, over to this wood pile because we are grabbing a bunch of these planks of wood here because this is cedar, which is pretty much the same siding as the house. And we're taking those wood planks and going up to this now fully mounted to the wall Foxbody, putting these on the ground, jumping on them so that they're broken in half with jagged little ends and putting them against the car here so that they're gonna look like it's crashing through the wall. Kind of like that. If you get close in here, you can see it's kind of a bit of an art installation. It's just screws spacing everything apart in here as much as possible to still make it look cool. And I think that that has been achieved. Now I just have to do one more side. And voila, just like that. Mustang shed, sweet. One more awesome thing to look at as soon as I pull up to the house. And yeah, there's probably still an upgraded fuel pump in that fuel tank. So it's there if ever I need one. I also kept a little bit of the original biohazard there from the accident that kind of shows just as a memento. Lastly here, and still very importantly, is finding out if this engine is gonna fit inside of Robin because it is a lowrider. Don't really want to have a massive hole in the hood. I could put a cowl hood on it if I needed to, but we'll see how much height there is compared to this. Let's get out the measuring tape, let's get the hood off, and let's find out. So we've got 27 inches from the top of the cross member. The oil pan's gonna have to go above that. So basically we've got 26 and a half, and that is definitely way bigger than 26 and a half. 27 and a half. And you know what, this oil pan, the way that it is, you can tell that it's an Aspen tree because of the way it is. With that hump directly in the middle, I think that this might line up to not have to build another one. Everything should fit decent. Those are always famous last words, and I hate to have famous last words. But either way, we're gonna get to the Mega Mini here next, so this one's gonna be sitting for a little while. When it happens, there's an engine that's ready to roll and we'll make some history.